Hi, I'm Raima, and I'm the creator of Voices of South Asian Women. I am filming this episode for my YouTube channel for Voices of South Asian Women. This is the first one that's going to be posted. I'm very excited. I'm going to be talking about intimidation, jealousy, and insecurity. And I've spoken about this a few times, but I feel like this is a really good topic to just start this YouTube channel with. So to start off with, I'm going to talk about my own insecurities. Hi, I'm Raima. Sometimes when I think about my own insecurities, I think about like when I look to the side, sometimes I feel insecure about my jawline. Or sometimes when I stand like this, I feel insecure about my arms. Now, is there anything fundamentally wrong with my jawline or with my arms? No. But I brought these things up to address the fact that everyone has their own insecurities. Some people deal with it better than others, and some people are not that good at dealing with it. I personally feel like I deal with it pretty well. And I don't think that I'm perfect, obviously, but I do have a good sense of self-worth. And I don't feel intimidated by certain people. I don't feel threatened by certain people. I love myself the way that I am. I think that I'm beautiful. I think that I'm strong. I think that I'm resilient. I think that I'm smart. And I think that everyone should be able to find the beauty within themselves, because everyone is inherently beautiful. You just have to find it in yourself. And I want to talk about, again, intimidation, jealousy, and insecurity, because when people aren't okay with their insecurities, they do all sorts of shit. So we're going to establish some of that today. Number one, I guarantee you that if somebody doesn't feel insecure or jealous or intimidated, they are not going to be trying to look for ways that they can pull you down. People who try to pull you down, people who try to speak for you, people who try to assume things, they're the ones that are jealous and insecure and intimidated by you. You know why? If they weren't, they wouldn't feel the urge to believe anything that they hear. Being gullible is one of the biggest signs that you are insecure, that you are jealous, that you are intimidated, because why the fuck are you believing random information? Even if this is someone who knows you, kind of knows you, doesn't know you, you don't have the right to pretend like you know everything about other people. That is very creepy. And I also just don't think that it makes a lot of sense. Like, there's always going to be more than one side to a story. So that's why at the end of the day, you really cannot control these type of things, because everyone has a different level of jealousy and insecurity. You can't, and they're just projecting. So you physically and fundamentally cannot deal with that. It's not your problem. You know, if somebody is going and they are constantly talking about your past with them, and they are going and fabricating it or twisting it or altering it, that's not okay. That's also just not, like, at some point, if you are really, because you can talk the truth, but then there's talking shit, and then there's slandering. And the thing here is, you ideally shouldn't do that. And also, I know my past connections, I know my present connections, I know what can help build into my future connections. And like, it's so uncomfortable when like somebody is actively doing certain things in your life and they are getting so many people involved, and you have to, you know, do certain things and take certain steps in order to get them to stop, because they have just gotten so many people involved. And again, if let's say you want to try to start over, right? You're not going to tell your future every single little detail about your past, meaning you're not going to go and like tell someone who you actually like, hey, all of these random details, all of these random bullshit, like, because here's the thing, right? If you want to speak from a truthful perspective, go right ahead. But if you're only ever slandering someone, that doesn't even seem realistic unless you have like every single thing you say has some sort of evidence, and then every single thing you say, the other side also has the right to talk, because the other side also has a voice. And so, like, first of all, you wouldn't even be saying that type of stuff if you are really into somebody else, right? You're really ready to move forward, because again, you might talk a little bit about it, but if everything is just slandering, that is concerning. And the fact that you don't even leave it at that, you know, obviously encourage this person to continue spreading the misinformation. Why would, if you are supposed to be the like the few week hookup or few week situationship or whatever, why on earth would you feel so intimidated that you even go and talk about the things that you are hearing, regardless of if, you know, it doesn't matter if you are, you know, hooking up with someone, or if you are friends with someone, or whatever the hell the situation is. The fact that you are hearing that stuff and you think that, oh, I should go and say it, that is intimidation, that is insecurity. Because why on earth would you do that? Why on earth would you believe something so easily? And on top of that, why would you make it your business? Why do you care enough to make your business? Why do you care enough to involve yourself? And like, again, there's a huge difference between trying to be like, oh, this is what happened before, and then constantly talking about someone and constantly slandering them. And that too, like, doing all sorts of other things on the side. And again, people don't really know what is past or what is present or what is future. You don't know what somebody is dealing with or going through. You don't know if something is really in the past or not. And you should also be more aware that if somebody keeps on doing certain things, they're clearly not over someone. And again, it's like, it's just uncomfortable because it's nobody else's fucking business at the end of the day. But I've noticed that with intimidation, because again, just because you go and you try to confront someone about what you are aware of, they're not going to go and make it a big deal unless they think that you are a big deal. Because why on earth? Because here's the thing, if you are supposed to be the new person or the better person for like a few week time frame, right? Why on earth would it bother you so much that somebody is confronting you about what they know? Why do you have to go and start now making the situation even worse and altering certain things as well because someone called you out for you not having self-respect? And again, this isn't necessarily targeted at anyone. This is just like, this is something that I've done with past friendships. This is something I've done with other random people that have decided to involve themselves and put themselves in the position to be involved, because I don't think they have self-respect if they're just voluntarily, even if it's just for a few weeks, even if it's nothing serious. Why would you voluntarily put yourself in that? I don't know. That's odd to me. So those are some examples. I'm going to go through a few other ones very briefly because I don't have much time. Basically anything. If it's about your appearance, if it's about your personality, if it's something that makes you happy, people should not be negative about it. If it doesn't concern them, if it doesn't harm them, if it doesn't bother them, if it doesn't bother anyone, harm anyone, concern anyone, it's fundamentally not their business as long as you are safe and you are happy. People are judgmental about literally everything. People project about literally everything. You can say everything right, you can do everything right, and there will be someone who is being a bitch. And that's not your fault, and they shouldn't make it your fault, but sometimes because they feel jealous, they feel insecure, they feel intimidated, they make it your fault, because that's the only way they can deal with the feelings that they feel about you. If somebody feels like you are better than them, these narratives are literally what they live off of, because that's the only way that they can cope with the fact that they feel like you are better than them. If they didn't feel that way, they wouldn't need to fit bullshit into their heads. And so the next time you feel bad about your insecurities, or, you know, just whatever stressors you're having to deal with because of other people, understand that it is a lot of times more about that individual or that group of people than you. Because if they're getting a group of people to gang up against you in the first place, it was never your problem. They know that you have something better than they have. Thank you. Hi, I'm Raima, and I'm the creator of Voices of South Asian Women. I am filming this episode for my YouTube channel for Voices of South Asian Women. This is the first one that's going to be posted. I'm very excited. I'm going to be talking about intimidation, jealousy, and insecurity. And I've spoken about this a few times, but I feel like this is a really good topic to just start this YouTube channel with. So to start off with, I'm going to talk about my own insecurities.